Oh, man, we're already a quarter way into the season. That that's crazy. I'm not ready for, another 7 months of no football, 6 months, whatever it is. And you just got to make these weeks count. But yeah, we're quarter of the way already, and that's crazy to say. Either way, week 4, we had a lot of upsets, a lot of surprises, I would say. Uh, Trade rumors, roster updates. So there's a quite a lot to go over within these teams. So we're gonna get into all of that. But I would say this was a great week overall for uh, just the league. A lot of great things were going on. So let's get into it. First off, I would like to apologize. I am a little late on these videos. These weeks have just kind of been a little bit busy for me on the days I usually would record. So these videos are getting pushed out a little bit further than what I'm expecting them to do. So I know this is Sunday. We're, as you can see here, it's 7:55 a.m. The games are about to begin. So this is all pre-recorded right before the game. So yeah, just wanted to point that out. But yeah, Thursday night we had the Cowboys at the Giants. This game was a lot closer than I feel like a lot of people expected. Giants didn't score any didn't score any touchdowns. So, the fact that they almost won this game is kind of crazy. Wandale Robinson. I have him on my fantasy team, and let me tell you, he's a sleeper. He had 11 for 71. He is clearly the number 2 receiver for New York, with Malik Neighbors obviously being the number 1. And Devin Singletary, he's in every other game back. I mean, he's not consistent enough, I feel like. But yeah, the Giants aren't as bad, I feel like, offensively as people think they are. Obviously, they're not great. I'm not saying they're, good. But they're not as bad as a lot of people think. It's just they're like 1 or 2 plays away from like getting these field goals to touchdowns. So, keep that in mind. They're close. They're really close to succeeding, I feel like, offensively. They got the right pieces, I feel like, in the receiving core. I feel like you gotta add a running back in there. And depending on how Daniel Jones does, I feel like with them will, ultimately be the decision make. Like that would be the determining factor. But yeah. On the other side, you got CeeDee Lamb, 98 and a touchdown. Jake Ferguson, 49, 7 catches. Rico Dowdle, 46. Zeke, 19. Dak, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Daniel Jones, obviously no touchdowns and 1 pick. But this wasn't, a blowout by any means. This was a close game, division game in New York. Malik Neighbors unfortunately got a concussion at the end, but yeah, tough loss for the Giants. Big division win for the Cowboys there. Next, we have the Saints at Atlanta. This was a very close game. Came down to the very end on the last-second field goal. Derek Carr played a pretty pathetic game, I feel like. He had a very costly pick. Was it a pick 6? I believe it was a pick 6. And not sure what that was. Sorry about that. And Kirk Cousins didn't play great either. This game was literally defensive. The fact that the Falcons won this game still just makes no sense to me. They had a total of 88 rushing yards. 88. And they won with no touchdowns. The Saints, obviously, Alvin Kamara, 77 yards and a touchdown. Can you not do that? Thanks. Taysom Hill, 24 yards. He ended up fracturing his ribs this game. So that was pretty big of an injury. Chris Olave, 87, and Rashid also had 83. So big plays, big playmakers, and they still were just so short. Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod, they all did pretty decent, all about the same. It's just a matter of how did they win this game, and it's just a defensive game. The Saints should not have lost this game at all. Like, literally, I if you watch the highlights of this game, you would be surprised that they would even win this game. I was on Red Zone, so it was like here and there I was watching it, but the fact that the Saints couldn't win this game, I mean, like I said, it came down to a last-second field goal for the Falcons in order to even win this game, which is, like, insane. But big division win for the Falcons. They got the job done. Next, we have the Rams going to Chicago. Chicago gets its second win of the season. And Caleb Williams, he did okay. 157, touchdown, no picks. Matthew Stafford played pretty bad for what he's usually on par with. 224 and no touchdowns with one pick. Kyron Williams is that dude. He's been consistent all year. 94 yards and a touchdown. Very underrated running back, I feel like. Outside of him, offense couldn't really get going. And DeAndre Swift finally got going. He has been pathetic all season. And that's sad to say because DeAndre Swift, in my opinion, is one of my favorite. And I feel like he's one of the best running backs in the league. And for him to not have a great start to a year on a team that he could easily succeed in, I feel like it's annoying to see that. Either way, he had 93 yards and a touchdown. Rashawn Johnson also had a touchdown with 26 yards. And DeAndre Swift led the team in receiving with 72 yards. So he had a great game. Defensively, I would say the Rams didn't really do much. I feel like a lot of the, drives were, these one or two drives that they could have stopped them, the Rams win this game. And, the defense just wasn't coming in clutch for the Rams. But the Bears, being able to contain a injured Rams offense to get the win at home, big win for the Bears. Next, we have Minnesota going to Green Bay to continue their win streak at 4-0. Sam Darnold, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Jordan Love came back, threw 4 touchdowns, almost came in clutch in a fourth quarter comeback win, and 3 picks. Aaron Jones, 93 yards. Josh Jacobs, 51. And Emmanuel Wilson for 27. This is also Jordan Addison's first game back. He came in with a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown, so big plays by him. Justin Jefferson, 85 yards and a touchdown as well. Aaron Jones also had 46, which is, the Vikings offense, man, is insane. 28 points in the first half, but then they got contained by adjustments by the Packers defense in the second half to 22 points in the fourth quarter, and they almost won this game. That's insane. Big win for the Vikings, division win, but man, was that close. Jordan Love, if he would have played a little bit better, I feel like if this was his second game back, Packers win this game all day. But first game back, obviously a little rusty. 4 touchdowns, 3 picks. That's not something that you want to see. Jaden Reed also had 139, a touchdown. Devon Wick, 78, 2 touchdowns. And Romeo Doubs is actually being suspended because he's forcefully not going to practice because he's unhappy with the role that he has in the Packers offense. Like, every receiver is a diva at some point, and it's like, it's insane to me. It's insane, but at the same time it's funny. But yeah, big division win for the Vikings at Green Bay. Next we have Pittsburgh going to Indianapolis. I had the Steelers winning this game, and you would think just by the stats and Anthony Richardson getting injured, they win this game. But of course, no. Justin Fields 312 and a touchdown. Also led the team in rushing with 2 touchdowns, so he had 3 total touchdowns. Najee Harris doing Najee Harris things, 13 carries for 19 yards. George Pickens 113, and Pat Fairmouth 57 for a touchdown. So he was just kind of spreading the ball around, getting the ball to these his playmakers and just anyone on his team, but no one was really doing anything with it. And then you go over to the Colts. Jonathan Taylor has a great game, gets a high ankle sprain at the end of this game as well, but it looks like he's only going to be out like maybe 1 to 2 games. But you have Joe Mixon, who has a high ankle sprain, and he's out 3.5 weeks. So yeah, that's fun for my fantasy team. Thanks, Joe Mixon. Joe Flacco came in the game, 168, 2 touchdowns. I mean, no turnovers, just played great. Michael Pittman finally had a great game, 113. Josh Downs had a great game as well, 82 and a touchdown. But yeah, this game just comes down to Joe Flacco. Colts should not have won this game. They stole this game from the Steelers. Steelers should easily be 4-0. The fact that Joe Flacco comes in here and wins this game for the Colts is pretty crazy to me. So, big win for the Colts at home. Next we have the Eagles at Tampa Bay. Jalen Hurts 158 and a touchdown. Baker Mayfield 347, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Saquon had 84 yards, no touchdown. I'm not really sure why they only gave him the ball 10 times. When he literally had 1 for 59 yards. So, yeah, not really sure what Nick Sirianni's thought process was, but clearly wasn't anything to go try to win that game. Dallas Goedert, he actually had a... What is this playing? Dallas Goedert had a... When he's leading your team in receiving, there's a problem there. Actually, you know what? This is the game where he should have led the team in receiving, because you don't have A.J. Brown, you don't have Devontae Smith, so, you have to, your main playmaker has to be Dallas Goedert at that point, so I'm okay with that. The fact that none of the other receivers could stand up and make a play is pretty much proven that Devontae and A.J. Brown are the only receiving targets that Jalen Hurts has. On the other side, you have Bucky Irving and Rasheed Wright. Same exact yards and carries. Bucky Irving did get a touchdown. Baker ran it in for 1. Mike Evans, 94 and a touchdown. Chris Godwin, 69 yards. And Kate Hodman, 6 for 52. Along with Sterling Shepard, getting 51 yards. Like, okay. So random. But, yeah. Heavy offensive attack for the Buccaneers. Great defense. Horrible offensive play by the Eagles. Pretty easy win for the Bucs. Pretty pathetic loss for the Eagles, but this would have been a big upset if the Eagles won this game, just because of the main receiving targets out. Next we have Cincinnati going to the Carolina Panthers. I almost picked the Panthers, but then I realized the Bengals are going to play so desperate that they have to win this game no matter what. And I think that was the case. If the Panthers were playing any other team, I would have chose the Panthers to win this game. But just because the Bengals had not gotten a win, they had to win this game. The Panthers, they lost, but this is a good loss. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't a loss to be ashamed of. Like, this is a loss that it's like, to look forward to. Andy Dalton, 220, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Chuba Hubbard, 104 and a touchdown. Deontay Johnson, 83 and a touchdown. Xavier Legette, he got a touchdown on 66 yards. Jamar Chase, 85 and a touchdown. T. Higgins, 60. No touchdowns. Zach Moss the running backs is what I feel like won them this game. Chase Brown had 2 touchdowns for 80 yards. Zach Moss had 51 yards and 27 receiving yards with a touchdown. Just a great, running back duo here doing it all. And Joe Burrow, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Almost pretty similar with Andy Dalton's numbers, but they just play better defense. Were able to score more touchdowns. That's just kind of what it came down to. But they were playing desperate. They had to play desperate. And like I said, this isn't a bad loss for the Panthers. This is, like, literally if they played anyone else, I feel like they would have won this game. But just because they played the Bengals, who hadn't won a game, Bengals had to get a first win somewhere, and it was in Carolina. Next we have Jacksonville at Houston. I'm going to say some things about Joe Mixon that I hope people agree with, because I've never heard of something like this. But first we're going to go on to the game. Jaguars still winless, and they came up short. They were close. They came up short. Trevor Lawrence, 169, 2 touchdowns. Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne, 140, no touchdowns. Brian Thomas Jr., somehow the third string running back, is getting 86 yards and a touchdown. Completely random. Christian Kirk, 61 and a touchdown. Finally actually did something. That's pretty cool. But that's pretty much it. CJ Stroud, 345 and 2 touchdowns. Cam Akers, 53 yards. And Nico Collins, 151 and a touchdown. Stephon Diggs, 69 and a touchdown. And I believe, Tank Dell was still hurt at this point. Here's my little rant here about Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon was questionable in a game time decision leading up to this game. An hour before this game, he said, I can't do it. My ankle, it still isn't feeling right. I'm not going to play today. I'm like, okay, he'll play next week. It's fine. It's a game time decision. He almost could play, but he didn't. And then coming into this week, them playing, do they play the Ravens? I completely forgot. Hold on. They play the Bills. He's not even practicing all week. How are you not practicing all week? How are you a game time decision against the Jaguars, and you're out next week? What sense does that make? I thought, maybe he's taking it easy. It's the Jags. They're 0-3. Maybe he doesn't have to show up. Understandable. But the Bills, dude, I don't know. But my fantasy team is taking a hit because of this. And I think it's really stupid. But, yeah. Big win for the Texans. Division win at home. Next we have Washington going to Arizona for a blowout win. Jaden Daniels may actually be pretty decent. This was the first game where they were kind of getting things going. on all cylinders. Defense was playing great. They were scoring. But yeah, Jane Daniels, 233, touchdown and a pick. Brian Robinson Jr., 101 and a touchdown. Austin Eckler is injured for this game. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that receiver's name. 85 yards. McLaurin had 52 and a touchdown. Noah Brown, 26. This was a field goal game. Tons of field goals. I believe they scored 5 field goals this game, if I'm not mistaken. Where is it at? Only 2 field goals. Let me see here. Yeah. Only 2 field goals. But, I mean, the rushing touchdowns. There was 4 rushing touchdowns for the Commanders, which is insane. Kyler Murray, 142 and a touchdown. James Conner, 104 and a touchdown. And 50 yards for Trey Benson, the backup. Marvin Harrison Jr., 45 yards and a touchdown. Outside of him, nothing was really happening. So, not a lot to go over this game. Just poor offense, poor defense from the Cardinals, and just a onslaught of rushing attack and offensive power for the Commanders. Next we have New England going to San Francisco. This game, not a lot to go over. No offensive production from the Patriots. Jacoby Brissett, 168, touchdown and pick, behind the worst offensive line in the league. Rondamore Stevenson, 43 yards and a fumble. Antonio Gibson, the third string running back, is leading the team in receiving. That kind of sums up the Patriots offense. Brock Purdy, 288, touchdown and pick. Jordan Mason, 123 and a touchdown. Juwan Jennings led the team again in receiving yards with 88. Deebo Samuel, 58 yards. And Brandon Ayuk, only 2 catches for 48. George Kittle had a nice touchdown in the corner of the end zone. Triple teamed. But, yeah, outside of that, this was just a basic win, easy win for the 49ers. Nothing really to go over here. Next we have the Browns going to Las Vegas. I thought for sure the Browns were going to win this game come Saturday, because it said that Davante Adams wasn't going to play. This was before all the drama. It says Davante Adams wasn't going to play and Max Crosby was not going to play. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, damn, I should have picked the Browns, but I couldn't go back on the pick. But luckily the Raiders, as stupid as that sounds, come through and win this game. Gardner Minshew, 130, no touchdowns, no picks. Alexander Madison, 60 yards, no touchdowns. Amir White, 50 yards, no touchdowns. Deshaun Watson, 176, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Jerome Ford, 58, and no touchdowns rushing by the Browns. Jerry Jeudy led the team in receiving, 72, no touchdowns. Amari Cooper, 35, no touchdowns. And on the Raiders, you have Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker combining for 90, no touchdowns. So, pretty boring game, pretty defensive. I like how the Browns scored in the first and in the fourth quarter, but not in the second and the third. And then the Raiders don't score in the first or the fourth, but they score in the second and the third. It's kind of funny, but yeah, clutch, I guess, kind of defensive play at the end by the Raiders, but the Browns are just awful with Deshaun Watson. They definitely need to do something, figure out a loophole, get him out of there, because, I mean, y'all are not going to win games with him. I hate talking about the Chiefs, man. Chiefs 4-0. They went to LA to play the Chargers. Mahomes threw for 245, a touchdown and a pick. Kareem Hunt actually did pretty decent, 69 yards for his first game back, with 16 receiving yards as well. Then you have Travis Kelce, 89 yards. Xavier Worthy, 73 yards and a touchdown. They won the game. Yeah. No, on the real. Patrick Mahomes didn't really play that great. He hasn't been playing great pretty much this entire year. 245, a touchdown, a pick, and he gets what's his name hurt? Rashee Rice. He gets his receiver hurt, most likely out for the year. Kareem Hunt looks pretty nice coming off of a big layoff, 69 yards on the ground. I think he's going to be the number one running back. I mean, he's clearly more effective. Justin Herbert, 179. He's playing injured, so injured, and behind. He's immobile. I mean, he's a pocket passer right now because he can't move. He's so injured right now. J.K. Dobbins, pretty pathetic performance. 32 yards. I was expecting a little bit more just with this particular game. Ladd McConkey, 67 and a touchdown. Ricky. Joshua Palmer, 36. J.K. Dobbins also had 30 yards catching. But it wasn't enough. Wasn't enough for the Chargers. I mean, when you go 3 quarters without scoring, you're not going to win the game. That's just how it is. But Chiefs, I mean, big division win, but I just feel like they just get lucky every week. They should be easily 1-3 right now. Next, we have the Bills going to Baltimore for a blowout. I thought this game was going to be a lot closer. Josh Allen, 180, no touchdowns. James Cook, only 39 yards. No touchdown there. Lamar, 156, 2 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, 199 and a touchdown with an 87-yard touchdown run. Justice Hill, the backup running back, led the team in receiving with 78 and a touchdown. Isaiah Likely, 1 catch for 26. Khalil Shakur, 62 yards, no touchdown. But, yeah, this was a big win for the Ravens. Defense played great. Offense obviously scored points. I mean, this was just a blowout. Next, we had the Titans go into Miami for an interesting game, to say the least. Will Levis ends up hurting his shoulder, so Mason Rudolph has to come in, basically save the day. Tony Pollard, 88 yards and a touchdown. Tajay Spears, 39 and a touchdown. DeAndre, 31 yards. Tyler Boyd, 31 yards. And then on the other side, you have Tyler Huntley, 96 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. I don't know why they didn't start the third string running quarterback. Makes no sense to me. Tyler Huntley also led the team in rushing, so that just kind of tells you where the running back situation was that night. Defensively, the Titans played great. Fantastic defense in coverage, pass rush. Honestly, just a big game for the Titans. Just a tough loss for the Dolphins. I mean, injuries to Tua really are impacting this team right now. Next, we have the other Monday night game, which wasn't really a blowout, but it was. Geno Smith, touchdown and a pick. Jared Goff, 292, 18 for 18, 2 touchdowns. I mean, perfect game. Amon St. Brown also threw a touchdown to Jared Goff, so that was pretty cool. Kenneth Walker, 80 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, 78, 2 touchdowns. David Montgomery, 40 and a touchdown. Jameson Williams had a 70-yard touchdown and a 10-yard catch. But Amon St. Brown had 45 and a touchdown. And then, like I said, Jared Goff had that 1 catching touchdown as well. But big defensive win for the Seahawks. Big win for the Lions. I mean, this was just a great game. Great Monday night game. Honestly, I love the uniforms for the Lions. I know a lot of people don't like them. I love them. I think they look awesome. But yeah, Seahawks get their first L going into Detroit. I believe this is the first time the Lions beat the Seahawks in like 12 years or something like that. So yeah, big win for the Lions. Next we have the Broncos going to New York, back-to-back away games. Bo Nix had -7 passing yards going into the second half, and they won this game. He had 60 and a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers, 225, no touchdowns, no picks. Javonte Williams finally looked like his prime self, 16 carries for 77 yards. Jaleel McLaughlin, 46 yards, no touchdowns. Tyler Beatty had an injury to his back and has been placed on IR. He had to leave the field on a stretcher. They still don't know what's wrong with his back, so that's kind of concerning there. Braylon Allen, 34 yards and no touchdowns. Breece Hall, 10 carries for 4 yards, no touchdowns. Cortland Sutton, 60 yards for 1 touchdown. This game was boring. This game was so boring because of the rain. The rain just impacted this game so much, and I feel like that's the reason why we won this game. No one could move the ball. We won this game in the dumbest way possible. All we had to do was get a first down to run out the clock. And if we don't, we have to kick a field goal and make it to force the Jets to go and, score a touchdown with no timeouts. And instead, we don't get the first down. We miss the field goal. Our defense gives up a pass interference, and the Jets lose the game on a missed field goal. So my emotions were just roller coastering this whole time, but this was a lucky win. I'll take it, but big win for the Broncos. Next, we're going on to picks of the week. I was pretty accurate last week. I had 12 for 16 correct. So boosted up my percentage pretty well there. But let's go on to week 5. Keep in mind, I know it is Sunday, so the Thursday night game has passed. But you can believe me if you want. I do all of my research and all of my picks by Thursday morning. So even though this video is coming out Sunday, I still prepare the video and everything's ready to go by Thursday morning. So you can believe me, you cannot believe me, I don't really care. I know what I do every week, and that's the truth. But I did have the Bucs winning in Atlanta. They should have won, but we'll get into that in the next video. So I did get that pick wrong, but I did have the Bucs winning that game. Next, on Sunday, we have a England game. We have New York and the Vikings. I did pick the Vikings here. This could go either way, honestly. But you do have the Panthers going to Chicago. I have the Bears winning that. I feel like they have a little bit of momentum, and I feel like just because it's a home game, I feel like they're a little bit more healthy, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Panthers win this game. Next, we have the Ravens going to Cincinnati. I have the Ravens winning that game. I feel like just after that performance, you just have to pick them. This was one of the hardest games to pick. The Dolphins going to New England. I have the Patriots winning this game. Don't ask me why. This game is the toilet bowl. Next, you have the Browns going to Washington. I have the Commanders winning that. Next, we have the Colts going to Jacksonville. I have the Jaguars winning that game. I feel like they need to get a big win here, kind of like the situation last week with the Bengals and the Panthers. The Jaguars have to get a win. Plus, they're going into a bye week. They have to go into the bye week with a win. Next, we have the Bills going to Houston. I have the Bills just because Joe Mixon's not playing. They still don't have a run game. And The Raiders are going to Denver. I have the Broncos winning that home game, plus we're debuting our new uniforms. We're going into the game healthy. Max Crosby is probably going to be about 90%, and Devontae Adams isn't playing, so that's a big relief there. Also, Zamir White is not going to be playing, so it's going to be the Alexander Madison, the second string, and whoever the third string running back is for the Raiders. Next, we have the Cardinals going to San Francisco. I have the 49ers winning that, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals win. That's going to be potentially a close game. Next is Green Bay going to LA. I have Green Bay winning that. New York going to Seattle. Have the Seahawks winning that just because Malik Neighbors isn't playing. If he was playing, that's a whole different ball game. Next is the Cowboys going to Pittsburgh. I have the Cowboys winning that. I would not be surprised if the Steelers blow out the Cowboys. And Monday night we have the Saints going to Kansas City. I have the Saints with the upset just because of the amount of injuries that the Chiefs have right now. But, I mean, it's the Chiefs. You never know. But, yeah. Either way, I will see y'all guys next week. Sorry these videos are coming out a little later than usual. I'll try to get that adjusted. Life's just been kind of busy lately, but I will do my best next week to have this video out on time. Until then, I will see y'all next week.